This is Randy Nunez, your host on Between the Chalk Lines, the podcast. You can find us on Amazon Music, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and anywhere else, as well as YouTube. If you want to watch the video instead, I'm here to give you the weekly wrap up, the last weekly wrap up of May. Wanted to let you know that there is a giveaway. Shane Bieber, 2023 Topps Finest Orange Refractor out of 25. Yes, he is injured. He is out for the rest of the season, but you can get his 2023 Orange Refractor Topps Finest card numbered to 25 if you drop a comment in the video on YouTube or the post that will be up on TikTok, X, Facebook, and other places. So, guess the number out of 25. There's not a lot of numbers there to guess. So, someone should get it or be very, very close. Moving on to this week's weekly wrap up, as I mentioned. Starting off with the standings before we go into the news. The Yankees lead the American League going into the day, Friday 24th. So, as of last night, the 23rd, they had a 35-17 record and were tops in OPS in all of the American League. I think possibly even all of baseball, even better than Dodgers. Yes. So keep that in mind. They're hitting for power, hitting for average, hitting to get on base. It's something that you need to do if you want to win. And you also need a good rotation and a good bullpen. And their team has obviously done that for the last month and a half to 2 months. Cleveland Guardians were on the Yankees' tails, mind you. Second best team in the American League. At a 33-17 record, lead the Central Division in the American League. In the West, no team has won 30 or more games. Most of the teams are very, very close to 500 ball. The team leading, Seattle Mariners, has made a trade, which we'll get to, and I'll talk to you about that. Give you more details. Are leading the West with a 27-24 record on the season. 27-24 is leading a division, yes, in the West. Moving on to the National League. The best team, in my opinion, right now, the Philadelphia Phillies, Fine Phils, with a 37 and 14 record. They have less losses than the Yankees, but they've also played less games. So their winning percentage is better. But no saying that the Yankees aren't a good team. I have the Yankees going all the way to the World Series. I had them going there before the season even started. So, and yes, even with Garrett Cole's injury, which he should be coming back from soon. In the Central, the Brewers going into today have a 28-21 record. No team in Central have more than 30 wins. They have a small 2-game lead over the Cubs going into today, Friday night. And on the West, obviously the Dodgers are leading the National League West Division with a 33-19 record. They are the only team in the West to have 30 or more wins. So the Phillies, the Dodgers, the Yankees, and the Cleveland Guardians are 4 teams that you should be watching out for this season. Teams on the bottom, like the A's, the Angels, Rockies, and the Nationals, watch out for trade possibilities. Trading away Mason Miller, the best second-year reliever in the game. Yes, he did come up in 2023, but he came up and had an injury soon after his call-up. So this is his second year. Although he is still a rookie due to the fact that he did not play in a lot of games last year. Um, he is in his second year technically. He could be traded away to a team that needs a just prolific closer. Proportions that we have not seen in over a century. Numbers that are just mind blowing. Mason Miller is a name to watch. Those are the standings going into today, Friday the 24th. And I hope that you hear that tomorrow, Saturday, 9 a.m. Western and noon Eastern. Going to the news, weekly wrap up. First off, with the Yankees leading, as they usually do, Hal Steinbrenner has been quoted as saying, "I'm going to be honest. Payrolls at the levels we're at right now are simply not sustainable for us financially." This is the Yankees, and this is their GM saying that their payroll is not sustainable financially. The Yankees go to the bathroom and they wipe themselves with $100 bills. The Steinbrenners are complaining about money. The most importantly, I want to make a fact known here is they're complaining about the luxury tax. They've been over the luxury tax threshold the last two seasons. So, in the next season, going in, they'll be paying close to or over $58 million as their payroll stands today, Friday the 24th. If they go and add someone else that's another big name like Soto, that could go up. Moving on to another GM from a different American League team, the White Sox. Chris Getz, for flailing White Sox, says that infielder Eloy Jimenez will miss at least a month or so with his last left hamstring injury. He does have a contract that he signed before he ever even landed on the major league field. He signed a contract extension with the White Sox as a prospect in 2019, and then he had made his debut in the majors in 2019 that went through 2025. So I do not believe, 2024. Then he has options for 2025 and 26. Do I think that the White Sox will pick up those options worth multiple millions of dollars? No. I think Eloy Jimenez will be a free agent after the end of this season. And I think it will be hard for him to get a multi-year deal. Speaking of the Yankees and multi-year deals, we'll get back to them on a subject that I wanted to talk about personally. Although I don't see the White Sox picking up Jimenez's options, obviously there will be a team that will need his services. It's just the problem with him getting hurt so often. So we'll see. Another big thing, Major League. We're going to talk about Major League Baseball and Manfred in a whole. First off, the 2026 World Baseball Classic, WBC. The venues have been announced. We'll be using the Marlins Lone Depot Park and Japan's Tokyo Dome as well. The Hiram Bithorn Stadium in Puerto Rico, which has not been used in WBC in a few years, as well as Houston's Minute Maid Park. Those will be the 4 stadiums for all of the events in the 2026 World Baseball Classic. There'll be a lot of new faces on a lot of teams, um, especially Team USA, I believe, that, you know, era has kind of, I think will be a shift in the era. I think with Trey Turner, he may become the new Mike Trout leading Team USA, but that's just me. That's just me. 2 years before any of this happens. Um, Speaking of the future, Paul Skeens, the Pirates, is one of my favorite guys to watch nowadays. I watch a lot of his starts, if not, I watched both of his starts, and I'll be watching his upcoming start when it happens. Speaking of Skeens, seems like the writers and editors at Major League Baseball believe that he is now the number one prospect over Jackson Holliday. And I believe that is because he has also had success in the majors. Jackson Holliday did not have success at the plate. Defensively, he did what he needed to do for the most part. But Jackson Holliday has been bumped down to number 2 in the prospects ranking for Major League Baseball. Orioles have placed pitcher John Means on the injured list with a forearm strain. And speaking of pitchers, Tanner Houck of the Red Sox has confirmed that there were discussions with the club, at least their front office, about an extension. The team did extend a few of their younger guys that have been doing well. Sedania, Rafaela, and another player that I can't think of right now. But as Garrett Whitlock just had diagnosis of ligament damage in his elbow, they could use a pitcher long term like Houck, who's doing well this year. So they could use him in their rotation or the bullpen, depending. And I think they want to sign him, as the ligament damage is probably the worst news that the fans and the team could have gotten back from the doctor about Garrett Whitlock. Speaking of discussions, the Blue Jays in the East, who are struggling mightily, have been open, apparently, to trading either or both Bo Bichette and Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who will have control over them, their contracts, through the 2025 season. So trade them. You'll have them for the rest of 2024 and next season before they ever hit the free agent market. So you'll be paying far less than whatever team signs them in the 2025 offseason going into 2026, especially for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And I'm not saying that Bo Bichette is not, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., but he's not Vladimir Guerrero Jr. When we talk about bat speed, barreling, home runs, stuff like that, there's no comparison. But again, Bichette will demand more money as he plays a premium position, shortstop, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. plays first base / designated hitter. The first place Guardians, although they are still first place, had to place right-handed pitcher Carlos Carrasco on the 15-day injured list with neck spasms. They also DFA'd once promising center fielder Ramon Laureano. I remember him when he was an Athletic, and he used to rob home runs from Mike Trout and other players on the Angels consistently, um, to make room for their own prospect outfielder in Jonathan Rodriguez. So Ramon Laureano, we'll see where he ends up. Astros manager Joe Espada did make mention of the fact that one time MVP in Jose Abreu, his quote unquote rehab will last a little bit longer. He did report today on Friday to AAA, which marks the first time he will ever play AAA baseball in his career. And this is after the little bit of time spending in Arizona playing on the ACL or the Arizona Complex team. And speaking of Angels, who have almost no pitching, if you're watching tonight's game, I just walked away from that in a mess. The team re-signed Amir Garrett to a minor league deal. I believe they got him off of waivers, and he was DFA'd. Amir Garrett, who can throw triple digits. The Angels love their triple digit flamethrower guys, but Garrett had a very short stint at the major league level with the Halos. He chose to become a free agent and then re-sign with the Angels. Kind of odd to me, but that's how that happened. And speaking of Angels, Major League Baseball has opened formally investigation into former infield angel David Fletcher, who used the same bookie in Southern California to place illegal sports bets on games in other sports. Reportedly not on baseball. Hopefully they'll find that he did not make any bets on baseball. And Corey Schultz, who was a minor league player between 2018 and 2020 for the Royals, a friend of Fletcher. Also, the third person who made bets with the same bookie as Ipe Missouri and David Fletcher, did bet on baseball and on games that David Fletcher played in. So if David Fletcher turns out to have somehow influenced those games that he played in favor of his friend Corey Schultz, who plays bets on those games, that could turn into a lifetime ban, aka Pete Rose. The Mariners and Orioles just finalized a deal that sent reliever Mike Baumann and catcher Michael Perez to Seattle in exchange for younger catcher Blake Hunt. Baumann reported to the team, being Seattle Mariners, as Cody Bolton was optioned to AAA to make room on the 26-man roster. The Tigers optioned Matt Manning, pitcher, to AAA Toledo, and made room for Kenta Maeda, who just came off the 15-day IL with some sort of illness that was bothering him. And the Braves have had trouble with the utility role. David Fletcher was part of that for a little bit. They signed 34-year-old utility veteran Joey Wendell and play third base, shortstop, and other positions, and optioned Luke Williams, AAA, to make room for Wendell. And they also called left-hand pitcher Ray Kerr, forcing them to put AJ Smith Shawver onto the 15-day injured list. The Mets, who actually had just DFA'd Joey Wendell the week before, claimed right-handed pitcher Ty Adcock from the Tigers off of waivers, and also DFA'd Johan Ramirez. This had their roster at 39 men, so Ty Adcock will go onto the 40-man roster as the 40th man, and it is not known yet whether or not he will be going to AAA affiliate or possibly even the Major League team. Right-handed pitcher Enoli Paredes was signed on a minor league deal with the Pirates. Speaking of the Bucks again, in the offseason, he officially had his contract selected from AAA after having a good start to the season, had some control issues, and the Pirates optioned right-handed pitcher Bradley Blaylock to make room for him, and that is where the Pirates roster looks at right now. Drew Pomeranz, who was once, I believe, an all-star in San Diego and promising left-handed pitcher, was just released by the Dodgers, according to transaction lists. The transaction that all teams have, you have to list what you do with all players, that whether they're optioned, have their contracts selected, they're released, retired, etc. Drew Pomeranz actually had a contract with the Angels and triggered his opt-out in April, then signed with the Dodgers, and now in May is being released. Whether or not he opted out somehow is unknown. Maybe we'll see in a week or so what the deal is there. 35 years old. He may not find any new home. It's unknown. If it is a deal, it will surely be a minor league deal. And then what I wanted to get back to, as far as Major League Baseball in general, Rob Manfred has made comments in regards to the electronic strike zone that has been in place for AAA, both leagues, or should say all leagues for AAA. And you call them robot umpires if you want. Essentially the same thing. Mentioned that they're having technical difficulties with the electronic strike zone, and that we as fans cannot expect to have this technology implemented in Major League Baseball level in all 30 Major League Baseball stadiums next year. So don't look forward to having the electronic strike zone and challenges and all that good stuff next year. Maybe 2026, but not 2025, unfortunately. And that is it for the weekly wrap up. Thank you everyone for joining me and listening to me talk about baseball all the time. All baseball. You know how it is. Look forward to a interesting and hopefully big interview coming up in June. Again, I want to just finish up. Out of 25, Shane Bieber, 2023 Topps Finest, Cleveland Guardians, Orange Refractor. Check it, drop a comment, guess, whatever, anything, and you have a chance to get this card. I'll be announcing the winner at the end of June. And again, look out for an article on www.betweenthechalklines.com for my May Player of the Month and other awards for this month. Have a good night. I'll see you next time.